good morning, friends, and welcome to another amazing series of Pamper Yourself in Get and Get Fit. For all those who have joined in new, I'm sure you all must have heard about Get and Get Fit series now. We started in terms of, trying to positively charge our heart, body, mind, and soul. So these were the four components we started. And then we said, how about pampering yourself also, right? Externally. So we started this session. We little expanded the session in taking care of yourself. So this is personally to just increase your self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem, and the way you want to present yourself to the world. So overall, we wanted to develop the personality of a human being, whoever got into this precious Get and Get Fit series. So I can proudly say we are almost going to complete our 8th month and going to start the 9th month now. And this is an amazing feeling, friends, because we started only as a 30 days challenge. And then we went on to 90 days, saying 3 months we would go ahead with that. And then it just kept going on. And we have a lot of celebrity people who have been associated with our Get and Get Fit series also. And we celebrated our Silver Jubilee celebrations at a very big, grand scale. And I'm sure many of you have witnessed that, not only in person, but also in our Facebook and our Instagram posts. So here today, we are in another amazing session. And what do I say about Sudha ma'am? I used to conduct a program called Midas Fest, and this was the Dental Association Students Festival. So I used to be in charge of the culturals, sports and academics, and that is where I had invited Sudha ma'am, I'm sure some 13-14 years back as a guest, and she was the judge for the singing competition, and that's how our journey started. But what's amazing is we kept our friendship going, and today it was so wonderful to interact with her. In the last 10 days I've been interacting with her and her Rhapsody School of Music, where Mrs. Anuradha also has been a part of it. And it was so nice to collaborate once again with like-minded people. And I'm sure all of you are waiting to know how music can heal the soul also. So I'm going to talk a little about music therapy, a little about what our Get and Get Fit series is all about, and definitely lots and lots about Sudha ma'am, because her CV runs pages, but I'm sure I might not be able to do complete justice to that. But I'll give you in a nutshell as to what Dr. Sudha Raja is. So first, a few lines on music therapy, right? So music therapy is basically a stimulus, and why do we call it a stimulant? Is because it can invoke anything which has been in the past. And that is a predetermined behavioral response, which means a person who has learned dance or music or something, yesteryears, and they have completely forgotten about it, and probably they are even in Alzheimer's, or they have totally having dementia. But you put the same music, and their fingers and feet and everything will start dancing to that tune with the memories of the past. That's why we say a predetermined behavioral response. And there is a beautiful video, I'm not sure how many of you have seen, about 100-plus-year-old woman who has absolutely forgotten about herself. But she was a ballet dancer. She was a celebrity ballet dancer. And now they put on that same music. She started dancing the same step she danced when she was in her 16 years old. So that's the power of music, and it can really touch your soul. It is an aesthetic, a physical, and a relationship kind of an experience, and it also engages the person. So many a times in very chronic diseases like cancer and coma and things like that, they've tried to find out what was that the people liked about, and they play music. They have so much of soul stirring musicians who go and do therapeutic the science based music musicology for these patients. So it is not just that, some ragas are there and you liked it. It's not like that. And I'm sure all of us born in India, we associate ourselves with the filmdom, where we listen to all types of, music, at least in terms of film music. And if you're tuned towards a little classical or semi-classical or ghazals and various forms of classical music, I'm sure you would understand that there are so many ragas which soothes your brain. And there's a study which shows that 38% of people have found that, it soothes the nervous system. It brings down blood pressure. It's a very healing, especially if you're under stress and anxiety and depression. And music actually elevates a person's mood. It can make you feel really happy about yourself. And, there is a lot of studies which also shows, like, study by Milgrom says, like, you can have your breathing and your muscle relaxation happening when you start listening to ragas and music. And also another study by Klein Kent said it reduces fear in people. It reduces the kind of anxiety and panic attacks in people. And it has better cognitive function, improves your motor skills, and, it calms you. So very many children right now who are attention seeking, or who are very restless, just put a calming music and everything comes in. It even, controls your breathing also. So that is the power of music. So we are not just talking about just a form of creative art. I'm also talking about the science behind such beautiful music. And today we have an expert speaker, my dear friends. Sudha Raja ma'am has been, a pioneer in this. And I would like to have the spotlight at Sudha Raja ma'am, because when I speak about her credentials, I feel you should be able to see and interact with her much more. And this is something which, is something which is amazing to have known her. So I will be putting the spotlight on Sudha Raja ma'am, and then we will start. So what I'm going to speak right now is all about Sudha ma'am, as I fondly call her. And I can go on and on, as I told you, with her, kind of expertise. But I'm just going to make it a little understanding for all of you. The topic for today is ragas which heal the soul. So Sudha ma'am has done her doctorate in Indian music. She's done her MA, MPhil in music with distinction. She's a trained in classical vocal and Indian chorus music, a consultant and resource person in NCERT, SCERT, and CCRT, which basically means into the education front also. She's a graded artist of the All India Radio Chennai for Carnatic and devotional music. She's the head of academics and operations of the Rhapsody Education. And right now she's been promoted to being the vice president of the same organization, which was established in 2012, May. And she's also a founder and tutor in Suswara School of Music, celebrated its Silver Jubilee recently. She formed Sargam, and which basically tried to say, let's all sing, and also the Aksharyam choir. And she conducted numerous singing workshops, seminars, lectures, demonstrations, etc. She's performed in various concerts and has numerous media releases with awards. A lot of, the TV shows which is there in various TV channels like Aha Padalam, Sangeeta Swarangal, Saregama, Pinju Ratnangalin, Pancharatnam. I'm sure all of you know Pancharatnam, and imagine small children singing. It's so beautiful to hear. So these are the many TV shows to her credit. She's also collaborated with the Milap Fest UK as a composer and conductor for 2 years, and she set up the Sabrang. So, this is something which is absolutely phenomenal. And this is how I want to present Dr. Sudha Raja, our expert speaker for today in the Get and Get Fit series. So over to you, ma'am. And it's such a pleasure to have you with us. And it's indeed my proud privilege, to have you. I understand we are on Zoom call, but we are all with our ears open and we are waiting to hear you. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for those lovely words and compliments. I'm very happy to be a part of Get Well, Get Fit series here, and and astonishing that, you've kept at it for 8 months and, kept the positivity going during these. So really commendable effort by the team and of course, Dr. Vidyaa Iyer, Hari. So today my presentation is going to be more on the musical part of what music therapy is, which is still in many levels, it's still in the experimental stage. Helping me with my PPT and presentations is my head of faculty from Rhapsody, Uma Shankar. So she'll be manning the PPT and everything. So wherever I think that I need to illustrate, I'll also be showing you short video clips from YouTube. And I'll also share the entire PPT for you all if in case you want to revisit it. Everything is available on YouTube. But how it works and how to put it all together is the thing. See, before we get into music therapy, one thing I always say is anybody who can talk can sing, because it's the same set of vocal cords that we use for both. So why cannot it be talking therapy? We've heard of so many therapists who just, listen to others and all. It's very simple. See, when you just say a sentence, this is music therapy. For example, if I'm just stating it, there are 30 neurons only which are fired in the brain. I'm sure many of your doctors here, you'll know it better than me. If I say it as a poem, this is music therapy. What I mean is in the meter like a poem. Then 300 neurons are fired in the brain, is what they say. If I sing the same line, sing, this is music therapy, it says that 3 lakh neurons are fired in the brain. So if this is the case for a normal person, just think of somebody who has ailments, who have, to be addressed and treated, of course, with medicines, but also with alternative therapeutic methods. Then what better way than music? All of us have also heard of how, Arjuna, even when he was in the womb, used to listen to, not Arjuna, Abhimanyu, used to listen to Arjuna's Padma Vyuham, and that's how he went into the war. So this is, even when the baby is in the womb, the ears are so sharp, so it relates to sound. So if talking is giving us that effect, just think of what it will be if it's music. I actually have one of my students, I would like to share an incident. Many of you would have heard of this shop called Terra. It was founded and it's run by one Meera Maran. So Meera was my student and she started learning music. She is still my student, incidentally, because she got pregnant and she wanted a child to listen to the right things when it was in the womb. She's an architect by profession. So this child, Kavya, now is a very artistically, honed child. But when Kavya was born, she realized that she had food allergies. And apparently she went abroad. She did research on food therapy, on what is gluten-free food, how to make gluten-free and food, in all things. You can make cakes which are gluten-free. Now we all know that. We're all aware of food-related things. But why I'm telling you this is, apparently when she was researching and Kavya was under treatment, the therapist in US told her that the gluten affection or affliction for Kavya less because of music. And they apparently asked Meera, so has she learned music? Because they went to the US when Kavya was 7 years old. She said, no, she's not been, introduced to music per se. It's only the environment in the house. Then she remembered that she had taken to music when Kavya was in the womb itself. So the doctors actually took her as a case study and, they told her that nearly 40% of her affliction was less because of her induction to music in the womb. So I actually indirectly thought that children who even have food allergies, if the research is done in the right way, I'm sure that just like Kavya, even their treatment would be much, much better. So these are so many cases you hear in real life. But let us go back a little into the history of music therapy. So we know that it's used for various health disorders, right, to treat. I'll get on to the PPT now so that it's clearer now. So healing with music. So what is the better proof that music is therapeutic than when we sing a lullaby to a child who knows no language, who's only heard the mother's heartbeats in the womb? It immediately responds to stimulus of, soothing music and soothing beats and goes to sleep, right? So that's the easiest way of illustrating music as a therapeutic form in life. And Indian music therapy also has an integration of a lot of practices from the time of Shushruta and music traditions, because we have so many traditions in our own Indian music. We have Carnatic, we have Hindustani. So I'm going to be talking about both traditions with specific reference to music. So if you look at the recent, tenements of music therapy, Krishna sir, we all know him, he's no more now, but he was actually a practitioner of music therapy in association with Ganapati Sachidananda Swami of Mysore, where Swamiji has set up, if you know, many of you may know, but please make a visit to his ashram in Mysore, where he has set up a center for music healing. And Swamiji himself has composed and put together a lot of tunes. He also plays the keyboard very well. Lot of tunes and Sanskrit and mantras to music, which he chants in a particular way and which are actually found to be therapeutic. So all of this is called nada. Music is actually nada, and this is called nada chikitsa. So just like we have nada chikitsa or chanting of mantras with music, we also have raga chikitsa. So what is raga chikitsa? This is originally it was a Sanskrit treatise which dealt with the creative ragams and the mood enhancing characteristics of certain ragams, so that you can use it in clinical application. More about it. So history of music therapy. The ancient Hindus had relied on music for its curative role. For example, the chanting of the Veda mantras. In fact, Samaveda is very musical and has a different effect on the neurons of the brain. It has been proved. So the Vedas are actually in place of the God also. So there we have cure for certain disharmonies in the brain, in the environment, and hence the Bhakti movement of Chaitanya Sampradaya and Vallabha Sampradaya, they all have put together, chants with music to settle the unsettled mind, I would say, because everybody needs a stress buster. So if you look at some historical anecdotes, I want to say a short story here. All of us might have heard of it, different versions rather. We all have heard of Tansen, who was the court physician of, Emperor Akbar. Now Tansen's guru is Haridas, one Sant Haridas, who never made it to public eye, because his thing was, I will not sing for any mortal. I will only sing for the God, the divine. So Akbar was very, very curious, and he said, why is it that when I am, so attracted to your music, you say that it's your guru who has passed it on to you. So why cannot I hear Haridas music? Why can't you bring him to my court? So Tansen said, this is the thing. He will not sing to public presence or to mortals, but I can take you to visit him. So he took Akbar with him, and in disguise they reached Haridas Kutir, which was a small hut, and there they heard sublime music, and Akbar was transformed to another, era. Then at the end of it he said, why is it that the same rag that he sang, I've heard you sing it a lot of times, why is it sounds different when he sings and different when you sing? So Tansen said in one simple word, he sings to the divine and I sing to you who are a mortal. So I sing to you with a connotation. There is one intent. I'm singing to get into your favors. I'm singing for, what do you say, for monetary benefit. Haridas has nothing, my guru has nothing of this in his mind. He just wants to attain bliss through music and attain divinity, the feet of the Lord through music. That's why he sounds sublime. And in the journey of Tansen, all of us would have heard of this. One of Akbar's queens was taken seriously ill. Like she was in a state of coma, but neither was she dying or she was just breathing. She was just there, as we all know, just there. So what happened was Tansen actually put together a ragam called Deepak. It's a ragam which actually generates heat. But incidentally, this ragam Deepak also consumes the person who sings the ragam. So nobody sings Deepak even today. So this is actually a proven fact that when you sing the ragam, the heat of the ragam consumes the person or consumes the musician. So what Tansen did, he was very sympathetic to Akbar's plight, but as he will also be afflicted, he trained one of his leading disciples to sing Rag Megh, which brings the rain. So what happened was Tansen started singing Rag Deepak, and at its zenith, at the higher octaves, the queen got revived, and Tansen started, going up in smoke, as in we could see the fumes. Immediately, his disciple took over and sang Megh so brilliantly that the clouds opened up and showered rain on Tansen and doused the fire caused by Deepak. So it is true, and there are proven facts. It's not a story. This is a fact which has been recorded in our heritage. So ragams do bring about rain, they do bring about fire, and it's also said even in our Trinity, as recent as Shyama Shastri, who has done a lot of compositions. Chintamani is a ragam which gives healing, which has healing impact. And there is this Durusukha, which is a composition in Saveri ragam. Durusukha Kripa Juda. Saveri is a very slow ragam. Saveri is a ragam with sudhas. Okay, so Durusukha as a composition is set in Misra Chaputalam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Misra Chapu as a beat is the slowest of the talams that we have. Beat 7. Okay, beat 7 is called Mishram. So Misra Chapu. So this is set in specifically in that meter so that it has a soothing effect. Now, just like I told you about Shyama Shastri, Tyagaraja is also supposed to have brought to life a person who was going towards death with Na Jiva Dara. Bilahari. Bilahari, all of us know, right? Raravenu Gopapala Rajita Jayashila Sariga Padasa Sanida Pa Magari. That's a very lively ragam. So Na Jiva Dharana, adliye vanda and the varteliye, the meanings are that give me life, bring me to life. So he's also supposed to have brought somebody to life with a Bilahari composition. Then, as we are talking about the Trinity, Muthuswami Dikshita's Navagraha Kriti Brihaspate, Atana is again a very lively and vivacious ragam. Okay. Balakana Kamaya Chela, ellarum ketirpom. So that is an Atana. He has composed a Navagraha Kriti on Brihaspate. Brihaspate is supposed to be Jupiter in that ragam, and it's supposed to have, cured stomachache of one of his disciples. So all of these have been recorded, and we have all of this on record. So what is Raga Chikitsa? Getting into Raga therapy. Raga Chikitsa is an ancient manuscript which dealt with the therapeutic effects of ragam. So the Tanjavur Saraswati Mahal Library is reported to have a treasure of such ragams, which spells out the application and the use of various ragams in fighting common ailments. There's also something called the melodic intonation therapy, which is used in speech disorders. See, actually, why is it that music actually helps in children or adults who stammer? If you think about it, many of you are doctors here. See, speech is one part of the brain, and music as an art is the other part. So the right part, suppose you have a speech problem, that same person, if he's singing a song or if she is singing a song, will have no stammering, because that comes from the other part of the brain, which does not have this incapacity. So that's why music is also used in speech disorders and speech therapy to get them out of the, stammering or whatever is the disorder that they have in speech. Stroke therapy again yields better results if music therapy is added, says doctors. So this also actually is directly related to creative skills. See, music has two parts. One is the Kalpita Sangeetam, or what is taught to us by the teacher, where we go through the Sarali Varsai, Jantai, Varnam, and the compositions. Then there is a second, more vivacious and more meaningful part, is called the Manodharmam. Manodharmam, the expansion of it is creative skill of one individual. So it's each individual's creative skills. That's why when you hear a Todi Ragam by one person, it sounds different when the next person sings the same Ragam, because it's each individual's brain and creative skills, cognitive skills, which come into play in Manodharma. So what is music therapy and how has it been, traced from biblical times? Aristotle, for example, describes music as a force which purifies emotions. For example, if you have some negative thoughts, or you are in a negative space, you're surrounded by people who are, abusing you, music immediately brings the mental state of the person to a stable level. So that's what he means by purified emotions. So all emotions are getting purified by music. For example, when we enter a temple, and you always see there's some music going on, either a Shuprabhadam or some music sung by a veteran. So immediately you will come to a state of bliss, and your body is, receptive to receive the divine forces and your prayers, because your mental state comes to a stable level. Now, Hippocrates, again, father of modern medicine, is said to have played music to treat his patients. What patients? Mental patients. And actually in the 13th century, many of the Arabic hospitals have also been recorded as having music rooms, because the soldiers who were affected by trauma during war have also had music therapy, and neurological music therapy, as in addressing the neurons for various ailments, is actually in a very, very, research state here in India to a lesser extent, but more abroad. Of course, pediatric wards abroad are also filled with toys and musical instruments like rhythm instruments and all, which help in music therapy. Now, what is the effect of the individual ragams? Now, I get into the proper space of my expertise. For example, Mohanam, the simplest. See, again, how ragams are used, I would just like to take a minute. It does not have to be a classical, rendition of Mohanam. It can even be Ninnu Kori Varnam Varnam. This is a movie song, okay, but it is in Mohanam Ragam. For people who are not, tuned, their brains are not listened to classical hardcore Mohanam, will still maybe respond to this stimulus of Mohanam in a movie song. Likewise, Mohanam can even be played in a very, light mode. And all ragams or modes that we use as music during therapy should be at a certain decibel level, as in it shouldn't be too loud, it shouldn't be too soft. And there are, research to say that what levels of dB it should be in, and how many minutes of the ragam have to be given for the treatment. So all of this gets into more detail. But as far as Mohanam is concerned, it actually is supposed to elevate migraine and headache. And it also specifies the time, generally at the end of a, hard day at work, maybe post 5:36. It says the best time to listen to Mohanam for a migraine headache, which many of us are afflicted with, migraine or not, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the time allotted. So I just want to play a short YouTube. This is not classical Mohanam per se, but it's Mohanam with a therapeutic bent. So you can listen to it fully. I'll share the PPT with all of you with the links. So you would have got the intent of what I'm saying. It is a very light instrumental music and version of Mohanam that you heard. You didn't hear it as Mohana Rama hardcore Karnataka namadha kekala. So it was a light lilting version of Mohanam, and you would have heard the Santur. So next I move on to Charukesi and Kalyani. Kalyani is an all-time ragam, and Shankarabharanam, which is another Melakarta, is a evening ragam. So Shankarabharanam, all of us know, most of the nursery rhymes are in Shankarabharanam. All Dikshita's notice forms. Shyamali Meenakshi Sundarishwara Sakshi. Abdina Sanskritli urkla, or you can just listen to it as swarams. Sarigama Papa Dani Sa Sanira Pamaga Mada Mariga Pagas. So they say this is helpful for heart ailments, as in it stabilizes the heartbeat because it's very soothing. Chandra counts again as a Hindustani ragam. So it's a very, what do you say, brings about peace when you listen to it. I have a small composition. I'd like to sing a line for you. Pranata-sureshwari Bharati Bhargavi Pranata-sureshwari Bharati Bhargavi Shoka Vinashini that is Chandrakaunts. This was actually the Vidyaa Lakshmi Stotram, which I tuned in Chandrakaunts. So it's again a very reposeful ragam. Now going on to Amrita Varshini, just like we say Megh, brings about rain. Amrita Varshini brings about rain in the Carnatic idiom. So hence, because it's rain, cool, it alleviates diseases of the heat. It says Ushana Vyati Nashini. So the heat diseases, whatever you have in your body, it alleviates. Amrita Varshini. There's also a very interesting story about Amrita Varshini, which many of us would know. Muthuswami Dikshidhar, one of the Trinity, was actually called by the Raja of Ettayapuram, and he was traveling to meet the Raja for some counseling, which the Raja needed. He wanted his advice. On the way, he saw a lot of villages drought-ridden, dried up. On inquiry, he found that there was no rain for many, many years, and the crops had dried up, people were starving, animals were also dying. So he was so heartbroken, he immediately stopped his bullock cart and started singing Amrita Varshini. Na, 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 na. You all would have heard of Anandamrita Karshini. That is a composition he composed in Amrita Varshini, and in the Charanam it says Sananda Hridaya Nilaye Sadaye Satya Suvrishtiye Tavetva Santatam Chintaye Amriteshwari Salilam Varshaya Varshaya Varshaya. Varshaya means shower, pour, rain. So when he sang that line, it poured and poured and poured, and the parched earth immediately started blooming. So his job done, he went to Ettayapuram, and he was there with the Raja in the Samasthanam for some days. On his return, which was nearly a month later, he passed the same village and realized it was still pouring. It had not stopped. So he sang the same composition. There is a record with the words Stambhaya, 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 and the rain stopped. So that is the penance of these great people. We say easily Mumurti, easily compositions, but each of it has come with a lot of penance, a lot of intent. And Amrita Varshini, he sang, it rained, but afterwards, even when we had a drought, there were people like Kunakudi who were trying to bring rain by playing, Amrita Varshini. So all of this definitely has an intent on our environment and definitely on our bodies. So Amritavarshini elevates disease related to heat. Then Riti Kaule is again a ragam, it says, which bestows direction on a person when he seeks it. For example, I am at a crossroad, I don't know whether I am taking the right way or the wrong way. So they say you listen to Riti Kaule. Many of us would have heard of Guruvayurappane Appan Shri Krishnan or Kangalirandal. That is Riti Kaule. So you don't have to listen to Guruvayurappan, you can even listen to Kangalirandal when you want direction. Okay, that's what is the beauty of music. Madhimavati. Again, Madhimavati is a pentatonic scale. Sari ma pa ni sa, sa ni pa ma re sa, Bhagyada Lakshmi Maramma is Madhimavati. Some even sing it in Shri. Then you have Karpagame Kanparai. So this pentatonic scale, again Mohanam is a pentatonic scale. It has 5 swarams only. So Madhimavati is supposed to clear paralysis, giddiness, pain in legs, hands, nervous complaint, all of it. But Madhimavati, ironically, is also used as a song to finish any auspicious, ceremony we have at home or any ritual we have. So most of the Arati songs will be in Madhimavati because it's supposed to bring about auspiciousness to any place where it is played or sung. Now moving on to the next ragam, Hamsadwani. Hamsadwani again is pentatonic. The difference between Hamsadwani and Mohanam is only one note. Mohanam is Sari ga pada sa, sada pagari sa. Hamsadwani Sari ga pa ni sa, sa ni pagari sa. Mohanam has da, whereas Hamsadwani has ni. And all of us will be familiar with va, Tapi Ganapatim Badeham. That is Hamsadwani. I'd like to again play a small clip of Hamsadwani to you, which is not again hardcore Carnatic, but it's a blended. Just like we heard, it's not Carnatic Hamsadwani, but it uses the pentatonic scales in an instrumental mode in a soothing way to use it for therapy. So that's what therapy is all about. There are also cases where many patients also do the same thing. See, some of them respond to a Vatapi Ganapati, some of them, even children with ADHD, do not respond so much to vocal music as they do to instrument or to, this kind of small, rhythmic patterns. It's because I think sometimes a composition has a lyrical aspect to it, which may not, address the ailment or the brain the same way a soothing instrument can. That is also one of the reasons where, though we use music, we have to also decide on the perfect combination of music that you need to use. It has to be an intelligent amalgam of vocal, instrument, rhythm, all put together in a soothing way. As I earlier said, the decibels and the duration of the therapy of each ragam to be used also has to, get into the mode for ailment, and this is very individualistic and depends on the severity of the ailment also. Moving on, Raga Ranjani, Mridu Pankajalochani, again a pentatonic scale, helps to cure kidney disorders. Ratipati Priya, there are not many compositions in this ragam, actually very few, maybe 2 or 3. Ratipati Priya is used in the Mysore, Sachidananda Swami's ashram. But in our text, we have a very famous Jagachanani Shukapani Kalyani. Again, it's a pentatonic scale, and it's supposed to bring about, eliminate poverty, bring about prosperity, and strength and vigor to a happy wedded life. So, Jagajanani is in Ratipati Priya, again pentatonic. Shanmuga Priya is a Melakatta ragam, so it has 7 swarams, and lot of examples for Shanmuga Priya we can give. Marindirande Parkum Maramamena is Shanmuga Priya. Okay, so all of us love that song. Like Parvati Nayakane Sharanam Papanasam Shivan. So this instills courage and replenishes the energy in the body. This actually is, we have 2 different scales. One, we say the major scale, where if you see a piano keyboard, it's all white keys. Then you have the minor scale, where you also employ the black keys in certain ragams. Now Shanmuga Priya has second Madhyama, Ma 2. Ma 2 and Shanmuga Priya are, very complementary to each other. So they bring about this, what do you say, the vigor, and if you have some kind of, reticency, or a little bit of, you want to step back from something that you don't want to do, then I suggest you listen to Shanmuga Priya. It'll give you the go ahead. Okay, I can do this, that kind of thing. So that way it's a very positive raga to hear when we are indecisive in certain things in life. Actually, music can, just like astrology, many of us use it as a guiding force, right? So it's actually a guiding force, and you can use it daily. See, before this talk, I didn't know, and I was practicing music therapy in different ways. But for the past week, I've been playing each of these ragams. Now that all of us have smart TVs on my smart TV through YouTube, and I've been realizing we can actually use it early morning when all of us are, rushing in a hurried pace and, shouting at each other. You just play this in the background in your house. I'm sure all of us will be more calmer, and we'll have less issues to tackle in the morning. The next more important ragam, which I thought we should include in today's talk, is Sindhu Bhairavi. Sindhu Bhairavi is a very beautiful ragam, and it has both modes, Carnatic and Hindustani, and we have n number of compositions in the film mode also. Now, Sindhu Bhairavi is for a happy, healthy mind and body, love and happiness, gentleness, peace, tranquility, serenity. So any time it is a welcome ragam, but the best time to hear it is at night. It says 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. but that may be not possible. But I'm saying, but the last thing you listen to before you go to sleep, before Neelambari, it will definitely bring a balance to your mental well-being and your sleeplessness if you have it. Then Hamir Kalyani. This is a Hindustani colored ragam, but it has a great therapeutic value and releases the tension, calms brain. It actually brings down the BP. If you are a BP patient, you have a high BP level, and all of us will know the song. Humko man ki shakti dena, man vijay kare, दूसरों के जैसे पहले खुद को जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना. So that's Hamid. Okay, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka is Hamid. So next is Brindavana Saranga for wisdom, success, knowledge, joyfulness, greater energy. This is actually a ragam associated to Shiva and what is significance or importance of time or why music? Okay, I have a question here which says what is the significance of the time? For example, if I'm playing Sindhu Bhairavi, which says it should be played between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. In the Carnatic idiom, we don't so much, stick to the time. But in therapy, it's very much important. Why? Because the time of the sun and moon and the magnetic forces indirectly play a big role in the way it addresses our brain, the forces, the magnetic forces. We also know that on Amavasya, the magnetic force is so high that the waves leap high, right? And the mind is more imbalanced for people with a mental imbalance, So what they say is at that point of a night when everything is peaceful around us, the brain is perfectly in receptive state to receive that Sindhu Bhairavi. I suggest just as a experiment, just take Sindhu Bhairavi, anything from YouTube. You will find it even in this music therapy slides that I'm sharing. You will find Sindhu Bhairavi. Play it once, just as a form of experiment. Once in the morning at 7 a.m. Once in the mid-time when you are having your lunch break, and once in the night when you're just about to sleep. You will see the difference in the same playing of music of the same bit at the different times of the day. So sometimes they've researched and found, like Sindhu Bhairavi and Neelambari, Bhupalam and Bauli. Bauli and Bhupalam are all early morning ragams. That these have a best effect when played at different times of the day. But many of this, what I'm saying, is still in the experimental stages. There's so much more research to be done in all kinds, in all branches of one ragam itself. Time, duration, the methodology of playing, all of it. So that is why it's a subjective thing. And it also is very individualistic. So what I'm saying may be working on me, but might work with each one of you differently. So what I'm saying here is, of course, what I've experienced personally and what I have tried out with others and what my friends have in turn shared with me over a passage of time. Is just a guiding force. So please share with us also when you have similar experiences with music. Because for me personally, if I hear that hardcore metal or jazz, I get very restless. It's not that it's not music, that is also music, but it puts me into a state of unrest as against just a Neelambari. Maybe my mind or my body is also not conditioned because I've not been exposed to that kind of music in my life. That could also be a reason. There may be many who look at Western music and jazz also in a therapeutic way. So I'm saying all of this is very, very individualistic and subjective. Now, going on to Vrindavana Saranga, this again is, as you see in the name, is very flowy ragam, and many compositions in this ragam are either on Muruga or Shiva in our Carnatic idiom. Kali Yuga Varadan Kanda Devamai Kachi Alipad Paranile. It's a very nice ragam. So these are all lilting ragams that we choose for therapy. Now the effect of individual ragams, Patona Bhairavi is a very, very Rakti ragam, very to be, exported or performed with a lot of bhavam, with a lot of altam. But even these ragams do provide, in extreme cases, relief. For example, TB, cancer, severe cold, phlegm, sinus, toothache. So a short clipping of Bhairavi. This is not at all the Carnatic Bhairavi. So it's just what was played was ta, 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 ta. That is not at all the Bhairavi we sing. We sing sa ga ri ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. Okay, but the way it is used is we use the scales of Bhairavi. Malhar, again Asman Sunstroke. Todi Purvi Jaijavanti Jaijavanti Akila Deshwari Rakshama. There's a very remote difference between Jaijavanti and Dvajavanti. Very, very remote. Jaijavanti is more the Hindustani mode. So that also is a very reposeful ragam. And we have a few compositions, but it addresses the ragam differently in Hindustani and Carnatic. Then the Hindol and Marwa, these are supposed to have ragams which purify the blood. Shivaranjani is supposed to be used in memory problems, Alzheimer's, Kararapriya to strengthen the mind, relieve tension, curative heart disease, nervous irritability, neurosis. Now the effect of individual ragams, when you look at that, Hindolam and Vasantam, Vasanta ragam are also used for Vada Roga, BP, gastritis. So many of the ragams may overlap. See, for example, headache may have 4 or 5 ragams which work to cure headache. Here also you see Natabhairavi, you see Saranga. See, what happens is, what ragam will work on an individual is very, very individualistic. That's why we use a combination of ragams for a single ailment. Likewise, Dvajavanti already told you, Punnagavarali, Ganamurti helps in diabetes. Ganamurti is again a Melakatta ragam with 7 swarams. Kapi helps for getting over depression and anxiety. It reduces absent-mindedness is what they say. Raga Darbari. Darbari is a very, very beautiful ragam. Darbari Kannada. We know a lot of songs in Darbari. Te solavre te mayali. Okay. Malare maunama. In the movie, I'm saying. So I'll send you the links as we are running short of time. We won't be playing it now. Another more important ragam is Ahir Bhairav, which is actually Chakravagam in the Carnatic mode. It's supposed to automatically bring down blood pressure. Asaveri, which is actually Natabhairavi, cures blood pressure or low blood pressure actually. Then Nalina Kanti, Talakamon, Hamsadvani, Kalavati, Durga, they all have a pleasing effect on nerves. So likewise Behak. So all of this is given. Now for paucity of time, I'm just shuttling through that. Now actually, I kept a YouTube video which I wanted to play to you on the role of rhythm. So it says where there are 75, 85 or more beats in a minute, talam, okay, which is almost equivalent to the average normal human heart rate, it's supposed to have a very soothing effect when the rhythm of the music is between 75 and 85 beats to a minute, which is almost similar to our pulse rate, 72 and otherwise. So slower than that, it creates a positive suspense on the mind and body, slower. So it provides a deep relaxation, and faster rhythms or beats excite and regenerate the heart. Likewise, there are a lot of medical and surgical emergencies which also, relate to good rhythm beats. So autism, which is a spectrum disorder, ADHD, those children and adults respond very well to rhythm, and I've personally been involved in treating those children with rhythm exercises and rhythm movements. Mild anemia and psychiatric illnesses also respond very well to rhythm. Now I'd like to just play a short video, just a minute. What I'm going to do is, we're not going to waste time here. I'm just going to send the PPT. In this YouTube, okay, sadly, a lot of music therapy is yet there to be done. But the YouTube that I'm just sharing, one of the links is what Dr. Vidyaa first referred to, of a 104-year-old, swan, a ballet dancer who responds to the same swan song and dances when she has Alzheimer's. So please go through the video links. Each one is precious. And more recently, this is a dissertation by one of my students who's registered for music therapy. He's actually a second year MBBS student. He's doing MBBS because he wants to do his postdoctoral and doctorate in music therapy. Abroad, you need to have a music medical degree to do that. So what he is going to do is assess the baseline of fetal heart rate, depending on their responses to music, specifically in 3 ragams. So I'm just going to take you through that. It's an analytical cross-sectional study. He's going to do it here in the Kilpauk Medical College, of course, in the gynecology and obstetrics department. It's a 6-month study, and his guide is Dr. Meera, who's again a very beautiful, doctor, very beautiful mind, and she has been behind him. And between Meera and me, I think Sudarshan will finish this. And he is going to use only 3 ragams and their interventions for a study. So in that, one is a Riti Gaule, and the duration he is going to be using 12 minutes 15 seconds. Then the second is Shankarabharanam, again 12 minutes and 8 seconds. Kapi, which is 16 minutes 13 seconds. Again, these music were derived between him and me after a lot of back and forth, and the responses by the fetus to these music. So music therapy, though it's still here in very experimental stages, it is the way forward. It's the best way forward because it can only have positive effects and not negative. And I'm sure many of us will be, on top of it to get to the bottom of this. But an extensive study on this has been done by one Dr. Sumati. So Sumati Sundar has also submitted an interview recently, 2020, along with her colleague, and her responses and her technical experiments with music therapy, she's also a Vainika, have been recorded. This is again something I can share with you if you would like to go through. So all of this is music therapy, and music therapy doesn't necessarily mean singing Carnatic music. It means listening to music and brain's response to music stimuli. But it can be ragam based, can be instrument based, can be movie based, can be rhythm based without any music, can be just rhythms. So that in a nutshell, I mean, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. I had so much more to share, but it's each one's individual bond with music, I should say. So please find yours. I'm sure it will elevate a lot of your personal stress or your family stress ailments. Please try it. It can also bring down the number of medicines that you intake or anybody intakes when they are undergoing therapy, especially in terminally in patients. Music therapy is the best way forward to alleviate pain in addition to painkillers. So I thank Dr. Vidyaa and of course Sudarshan, who's extensively shared a lot of the info I shared with you today. And please, if you have any responses to his clinical study, please share it with him. And you can also share it to me. I can pass it on, because I think helping each other through music is what the world needs. I thank Vidyaa once again, Dr. Vidyaa, for giving me this full opportunity of reaching out and talking on one of my favorite subjects. Of course, music is breath itself to me, so I can just go on and on. I thought 1 hour is a long time, but I couldn't even finish half of what I wanted. Looking forward to extending this again in another session. Thank you all for being wonderful.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As always, it's a pleasure listening to you. I always wonder, how each of what you sang and what you, even that Humko Man Ki Shakti Dena was my prayer song in school. And when you were singing, I just felt like singing again. It was so beautiful. We should sing. Probably we'll end this session with that song then.
Yeah, why not? I'll just share the PPT. We have the lyrics right here.
No, I have it by heart in my mind. I can sing without the lyrics.
Okay, fine. Who does a sing along that?
Yeah.
Give me a second. On choral music also. All that I'll share with you.
Sure, ma'am. मन विजय करे दूसरों के जैसे पहले खुद को कहते हमको मन की शक्ति देना.
Okay, that's how key.
Awesome.
I'll share you this also. The +1, -1. We have a background music track for this. You can sing along with that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Like a karaoke.
In fact,
a positive song which is needed for us now.
Yeah, and in fact, you know, when you get up in the morning, and as ma'am said, if you have a mantra behind, you know, just this, even one line of, you know, whatever mantra, like we have this mantra chanting in our Swami rooms, even that is such a tranquilizer and keeps your mind so calm. It clears out your, you know, confusion in the brain. It helps you plan your day better. It keeps you cool so that you can work your day. It is not that we need to be having some ailment for us to enjoy music. You can enjoy it any which way. And as we always said, music therapy, I practice a lot of music therapy. I am also a psychotherapist and a counselor. So I have a lot of patients coming to me with depression, insomnia, and a lot more, you know, that kind of fight between the good mind and the bad mind within yourself, not allowing you to do what you want to do. Always, you know, when you want to get up even to do an exercise in the morning, one mind says, don't get up, you can sleep another 10 minutes. The other mind says, get up and do, you know, even for these small things, once you have that kind of a clarity of mind, music really helps. And thank you so much, Sudha ma'am. I mean, I loved the ragas you were singing. I wished we had some more time to hear you. I mean, we had just 1-2 lines. We would have loved to hear more of you. We'll have another session, like you said.
Sure.
There is so much more to
like
it.
A sing along, no, so that we can things also.
I would have loved to. It's just that sometimes there is a time lag from the time you hear and I hear, so that is why it might not sound good otherwise. But it was so beautiful singing Humko Man Ki Shakti Dena. For others who understand Hindi and understand the meaning, this is from a famous movie called Goody. And how beautifully Vani Jairam sings the song, and
won the national award for that another song in the same, Bole Re Papi Hara.
Yeah, Bole Re Papi Hara, correct. So musical and lyrical and soothing. I mean, that is what it is all about. And all the Carnatic songs you sang, absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you enough, and thank you so much, because I know ma'am has another session today at 11:30, and you know, she's just like, you know, wrapping it up just for us. Otherwise we would have gone on and on. And thank you so much for pitching in spite of your busy schedule. And we are so fortunate and privileged to have you with us. And I'm sure all my friends who joined in today would have enjoyed the same way I enjoyed listening to you. We have a few chats, so I'm just going to read out those chats, and I would be sharing them also. So Rhoda says, music uplifts the soul, all kinds, and music has no borders. It's provided its melody is well explained. Rukmani Ma says, of course, what is the significance or importance of time and why time is related to listening to music? I guess it was explained during the session. Thank you, ma'am. You can give in writing the ragam, best time to listen also. And Dr. Vidyaa Suresh says, excited to know lots of information about music therapy. Thanks a lot, ma'am. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was, you know, indeed a pleasure. And for me, I feel like music is ingrained into me. So I love music. It's a part of me wherever I go. I practice it in my practice also. So it's so useful. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the delegates who've joined in. Thanks to Mrs. Uma Shankar, right? Who is working. Thank you so much. And thank you.
My Ediroli, my echo.
Yeah, we heard her sing along also. And thank you so much, Mrs. Uma, for being that backbone and support. And thanks to Mrs. Anuradha too, who was, you know, coordinating with me through Rhapsody. And yeah, so thank you to the entire team there, and thanks to God, because I feel if not for having this interconnection and internet thing, we all from various places couldn't have just got together and listened to such an amazing speech. So thank you so much, and
I'm sure you will do it, but please share it amongst your group so that people who missed, if they are inclined, they can listen to this also.
Sure, ma'am, we do it regularly.
I also want a copy.
I will. I've taken some screenshots. I will be sharing everything. I also want to wish Dr. Sudarshan best of luck for his thesis and whatever inputs. We'll all be in touch. Yeah. And Dr. Meera too for joining us. I could see them in the group. Yeah. So thanks to all new people who joined us, and we have our Get and Get With series every Saturday, and each time we try to bring the best in front of all of you. So stay tuned, and to next time it's going to be a little more on dance. So we have a lot of aspects of having holistic way of life, and that is what I want to preach, and I want to breed that. So let's all have that camaraderie of bringing towards a positive, productive, enriched world with all the knowledge we all have. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Sudha ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sudha ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudha ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful, enlightening speech, especially music. Music melts everything. And more than tapas and everything, God just runs and comes for music. For years together, even if you do tapas, he doesn't come. But Tyagaraja's music just brought him with him together. Like that, Sudama, really, I think you're just enlightening soul to all of us. And we are blessed.
Thank you so much. Always need your wishes and blessings.
Definitely, ma.
Actually, Sudarshan is also here. He's logged in. And
yeah, Sudarshan.
Yeah, I could see them.
He also needs your wishes. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks, Dr. Meera, for being here.
Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you, Dr. Meera, for those insights. And truly, as you said, even in spirituality, there is so much of bhajans, and for even common people to sing and repeat the names and chants of God. So music has no barrier, has no language. So that is so much more. So thank you so much. Lots more of information and things passing on. So thank you, and have a wonderful weekend, friends. That is most important. And stay safe, stay protected, and stay blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.